time being 6:30 p.m, I'll get the meeting underway, and thank you all for attending. In the event of an emergency, the building may be evacuated. You'll be required to evacuate the building by the rear entrance and gather in the breezeway between the library and art gallery buildings. This is the council's designated emergency muster point. Under no circumstances is anybody permitted to re-enter the building until all clear is given and the area deemed safe by an authorised personnel. In the event of evacuation, a member of council will assist any persons present with a disability to vacate the building. I would like to introduce our returning councillors. Councillor Jeff Whitten, Councillor Tammy Greenhalgh, Councillor Mel McDonald, Councillor David Mallard, Councillor Kevin Duffy, Councillor Steve Peterson, Councillor Francis Kinghorn, and a huge welcome to our newly elected councillors for this term. Oh, sorry, where is it?
There it is.
Oh, my apologies.
How you going there, man? Oh, good.
My apologies.
It's my chair, sir. It's just too low.
I think you're sitting back. My apologies, Councillor
good,
Powell,
sir.
and
Oh,
welcome
good.
back. And our newly elected councillors, Councillor Graham Judge, Councillor Jamie Stedman, and Councillor Maria Ruddy. Welcome. Apologies of absence. Mr. CEO, do we have any apologies of absence this evening?
No, we have none, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. There being none, we'll move on to the next item. 1.2, live streaming and recording. This council is being live streamed and recorded. By speaking at the council, you agree to be live streamed and recorded. Please ensure that if and when you speak at the council meeting, that you ensure that you're respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Orange City Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this council meeting. A recording of the council meeting will be made available for administration purposes. Item 1.3, acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge Wiradjuri people who are the custodians of the land. I would like to pay my respects to elders both past, present of the Wiradjuri Nation and extend that respect to other Aboriginal Australians who are present today, and also all other people here with us. 1.4, opening prayer. We welcome Minister Tim Goldsmith of the Orange Evangelical Church and ask that he lead us in the opening prayer.
Thank you for the offer to come and pray this evening, and I just want to assure you that we continue to pray for the council and the people of Orange regularly as well. So for those for whom it's your practice to do so, let's bow our heads and we can pray. Almighty and ever-living God, we give you thanks and praise for all of your mighty works. You are loving and good and gracious. Thank you for creating and sustaining us day by day, and thank you that you made us in your image to exist in community with other people. We thank you for the City of Orange and for our elected officials, those who are returning in their job and those who are newly elected. We thank you particularly for your servants here tonight and pray, Lord, that you would be a blessing to them as they seek to be a blessing to others. We pray that all councillors would have a deep sense of their calling and would seek to act on this calling fairly and faithfully. And we pray for the meeting this evening and in the future that you would guide those in positions of authority to make decisions that are righteous in your sight and for the benefit of people all throughout this region. And we ask this in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Yeah. I now ask Chief Executive Officer Mr. David Waddell to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll now ask the councillors to take the oath or affirmation of office. No, I'm going to do the oath first. Is it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Under Section 233A of the Local Government Act 1993, it is a requirement of councillors, including the Mayor, to take an oath or affirmation notice from the Office of Local Government. It sets out that a councillor must take an oath of office or make an affirmation of office at or before the first meeting of the council after the councillor is elected. The councillor must be physically present before the CEO to take the oath or affirmation. An oath or affirmation should be taken by each councillor as the first item of business for the meeting. A councillor may select the oath or the affirmation. In law, an affirmation is a solemn declaration allowed to those who conscientiously object to taking an oath. An affirmation has exactly the same legal effect as an oath, but it is usually taken to avoid the religious implications of an oath. It is thus legally binding, but not considered a religious oath. The oath is not required to be sworn on a Bible. So may I ask all councillors who are taking the oath to stand, please? And you have the wording in front of you, the oath takers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're doing the affirmation? Yep. So councillors, if you could read that oath, please.
Individually?
No, all at the same time, please. Have a crack.
I,
Melanie McDonald,
swear that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Orange and Orange City Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your position. Could I ask that any councillors taking the affirmation to please stand? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you could, in a loud voice, please take the affirmation.
I, James Allen, solemnly and sincerely declare that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Orange and Orange City Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Thank you very much, and congratulations for your election, councillors. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, it's traditional at the start of each term that I introduce some of my key staff, and I'd like to do that now if I could. May I ask people to stand as I call their names? Can I please introduce Ian Greenan, the Director of Technical Services, Mr. Mark Hodges, the Director of Development Services, Mrs. Jen Sharp, the Director of Corporate Services, and Mr. Scott Maunder, the Director of Recreation, Culture and Community. Excellent. Thank you very much. You may be seated. And we've also here got managers tonight. Now, the managers of this organisation I would like to introduce. We've got 24 in total, and there's quite a few have made it here tonight, and I thank them all coming to introduce themselves to you. Between them, I worked out they've got about 400 years of experience. Roughly. Okay. It means a lot for us to know that for you to know that we have these good people behind the directors. This is the engine room of the council. May I ask the managers to stand up as I introduce them? Once I'm done, managers, you're free to go home. So thank you. Thank you very much for coming. In no particular order: Melissa McCallum, Manager of Building and Environment. Paul Johnson is known as lead. Andrew Cole, the Natural Resources Leader. Nigel Hobden, City Presentation Manager. Melissa Stanford, absent. Brad Hadman on leave. Mary Liz Andrews, Museum Manager. Thank you. Michelle Pearce, Manager Performing Arts and Venues. Rosalind Cousins, Manager Central West Libraries. Rachel Stevens. No. Chris Rawlins, Manager Economic Development. Peter Beck's away. Janessa Constantine, Manager Corporate Governance, next to me. Amanda Kerslake, the new Manager People and Culture. John Francis, Manager Water Treatment. Jason Theakstone, Manager Engineering Services. Wayne Davis, Manager Waste Services and Technical Support. Wayne Beattie, Manager Water and Sewer Strategic. Tim Mooney, Manager Depot, Airport and Emergency Services. Wayne Gailey, Works Manager. Simon Davies, the new Manager Project Management Office. John Boyd. Damien West. Absent. So that's it for tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for indulging me, and thank you very much, managers, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Councillors, if we can go to item 1.6, declarations of interest. Does any councillor wish to declare any conflicts of interest in any matter for consideration at this council meeting?
Councillor Peterson.
Councillor Peterson.
Yes, I want to declare a professional relationship with the proposed chairman of the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee for item 5.6. As we both serve on the board of Live Better, I don't believe this prevents me using my objective judgment for that item, so I'll stay in the chamber and vote.
Thank you.
That would appear to be it.
Yep. With no registered speakers, there is no open forum. If we go to item number 2.1, there are no mayoral minutes. Item number 3, confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting. That is item 3.1. There's a recommendation, councillors, on page 8.
Move the minutes, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Whitten, seconded by Councillor Greenhalgh. Is there any discussion with regards to this item? There being none, can I have a show of hands of those for? Any against? Carried. There are no, number 4, there are no notices of motion or rescission. We go to item, we've done the oath, so we're going to do the election of Deputy Mayor now, Mr. CEO?
We are.
Oh,
Item 5.2.
Yep, item 5.2, which appears on page 15. A recommendation is in front of us. Can I have somebody move that recommendation?
I'd like to move an amendment to that. Or I'd like to move the motion that the year be for 1 year only, 2024 to 2025 each year. I'll second that, Mr.
So we've got a move, we've got a seconder. Do we have any speakers?
Oh.
Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to speak against that, mainly because whoever we elect as Deputy Mayor, it's going to be their first time as Deputy Mayor. I feel that like 12 months isn't really, we've got 4 years for this term. 12 months isn't really enough of a time period for whoever gets elected to sort of sink their teeth into it and learn the ropes. So I think it makes sense for continuity and to make the most of the position, whoever gets up. I think it should be a 2-year period.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers? Councillor Mallard.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I agree with Councillor McDonald's points. I think we don't need to hold another election every single year. I think a 2-year term makes sense. So I will move an amendment to that effect, that we amend the motion Councillor Duffy's moved to instead implement the recommendation that was on the report, the same wording that's on page 15, if I can get a seconder.
Second.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mayor, we have the motion, which was Councillor Duffy's
We'll have to put
1
the
year,
amendment first.
and then we've got the motion.
Can I speak?
Yes, of course.
I'm speaking for the motion, Mr. Mayor. Traditionally, under the Act of 1993, the Local Government Act, Deputy Mayor tenure is for 12 months. Has been traditionally always been for 12 months. We, at the last term of council, decided to make it 2 years for the simple fact that we are a short term council, and that because of COVID. But traditionally, it's always been the Deputy Mayor is elected and has the same secular replacement as chairs of committees.
Thank you. Any more speakers? Yes.
Can I speak for the amendment? Because I've spoken against the motion.
The amendment is being debated.
Yes, so I can speak to it.
Yes.
Thank you. Look, I take on what Councillor Whitten's saying. However, just because it's always been done that way doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way that we should do it going forward. I really think in terms of the chairs of our committees, whoever council committees, they're the chair for the term. So I stand by the 2-year term.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Peterson.
I'll speak for the amendment. I feel that there's more benefit to the council if over the 4 years we have 4 people who have the opportunity to get that experience instead of 2. That will just give us more experience that could be useful for people that desire further roles in the future. We do have the opportunity for re-elect people if they wish.
So you're speaking for the motion or the amendment?
Speaking for the amendment. Well, the motion has been amended. So,
I'll untangle that. So.
Okay.
I'll speak against the amendment now. Mr. Mayor, I've spoken for. I'll speak against the amendment. I do understand what Councillor McDonald's saying, to give people the opportunity to learn on the job. But if they're doing it, if they do a good term in that 12 months, then they'll have the numbers to be returned as the Deputy Mayor again. If they're not doing a good job, then it gives this chamber the opportunity to give someone else a go. That is the whole reason of the secular tenure, to allow them to do a good job or not.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? I might ask the CEO to define the amendment before we vote.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The amendment is in fact what is printed in the business paper, which looks for the 2-year term. The motion was Councillor Duffy's initial one, which was the 1-year term. So the amendment needs to be put.
Okay, I'll put the amendment first. All those in favour?
Oh, sorry. The amendment is the 2-year term. Is that right? Yeah, 2-year term. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 5. That's a victory. So the amendment becomes the motion.
Okay, I'll now put the motion. All in favour?
So the amendment becomes the motion.
against
Yeah.
first.
Oh, sorry, as against for the record.
Judge Duffy, Greenhalgh, Peterson.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the amendment is successful and becomes the motion.
Yes, the amendment now becomes a motion. All those in favour of the motion?
So this is cheese.
9.
Those against?
1, 2, 3.
3.
Thank you.
Carried. Thank you. You on
Okay, we're now going to
5.3?
ask. No, you're going to ask me to do the election.
Okay. Oh, no, apologies. Okay, we now do item 5.2, election of Deputy Mayor 2024. Can I have somebody move?
No, you've done it.
We've done that.
You've done
Sorry,
it.
my
You're good to go.
apologies.
Just good.
Yep, I'll hand over now to the CEO to conduct.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Here we are. Audience, just bear with us. This usually takes a little while, depending on the number of candidates. So I'll take over now. I forgot to introduce one manager. Can I introduce Kath Davis, our Executive Support Manager? Thank you very much. Probably very close to a fatal error.
Career end.
Yeah. So the method of voting will be by ordinary ballot. Vanessa and Kath, everyone relax. We will be moving around the room. So we need to unlock the ballot box and see what nominations we have. Each nomination needs to be signed by 2 nominators and the councillor needs to consent to the nomination. Oh, okay. So we have 3 nominations. Thank you. We have 3 nominations by the look of it. We have Councillor Tammy Greenhalgh as the nomination, nominated by, that's a legal nomination, correct? 2 signatures. We have Kevin Michael Duffy, and there are 2 signatures. That's a legal nomination. And a third nomination is Councillor Steve Peterson, with 3 signatures in fact. So, Councillor Peterson, will you accept that nomination?
I will, thank
You will. Councillor Judge, Councillor Duffy, Councillor Duffy, will you accept that nomination? Okay. Sorry about the heart. And Councillor Greenhouse, will you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Yes, you will. Okay, brilliant. So, we will prepare some forms and give you those forms to vote on the first round.
Just, can I ask a
Of
kind of
course.
order, clarification, question? Any of the above?
Mhm.
Were candidates going to be doing a 2-minute spiel?
Mr. Mayor, I'm getting to that in 1 point. Thank you. We're just doing a little bit of bureaucracy
Yep.
first.
Easy done.
In order of the nominations that I read out, councillors will then do 3 minutes. Okay. But firstly, we just need to get this thing done. Take your time. No hurry. So, in order of nominations was... So the order of speaking will be Councillor Greenhouse, Councillor Duffy and Councillor Peterson. And I'll time you on the 3 minutes. Are we close? Okay. Why don't we make a start, please, councillors, on the 3-minute speeches.
Okay.
Councillor Greenhouse.
Do you want me to stand up?
Up to the if the audience can hear you,
Okay.
up to you.
It's a true privilege to stand before you today, asking for your support as Deputy Mayor after being re-elected. Working with each of you on this council has only deepened my commitment to our community and strengthened my vision for what we can accomplish together. I was humbled by finishing second in the mayoral ballot, and I am incredibly proud of the support that represents from our community. They're looking to us for leadership that's fair, thoughtful, and most importantly, focused on building a sustainable future for our colour city. They want us to work with long-term vision, one that supports every family, business, and young people here. I believe I bring the experience and balance needed to make thoughtful, well-informed decisions that benefit our entire community. But more than that, I'm driven by a passion to make our city a place where the next generation can truly thrive, a place where they can work, rest, play, and above all, stay. We want our young people to feel confident that they can build their lives right here in the community that has shaped them. Being Deputy Mayor isn't just a title, it's a responsibility to support the Mayor, to represent each of you and to serve every member of our community with integrity and purpose. I'm prepared to take this role with dedication and respect, ensuring that our goals are guided by sustainable governance, real progress, and the kind of leadership that inspires confidence in our future. Let's make our colour city the kind of place that not only meets the needs of today, but builds the foundations for tomorrow. A place where families grow, businesses thrive, and young people see their future. I'm ready to work with each of you to bring this vision to life. Regardless of the outcome, I look forward to serving alongside you all to create a city that we can all be proud of today and for generations to come.
Councillor Duffy.
Yes, thank you, CEO. First of all, I want to acknowledge you, Mr Mayor, and congratulate you for your pure performance in the regional elections. I thought it was a very good performance, and to you and your team, I thought it was pretty good. I also want to congratulate the other South councillors on their performance in getting re-elected. But I also want to acknowledge my colleague up there in getting on to 24 years towards on council, which shows he has some mettle and does want to achieve things for the City of Orange. And that leads me to what I'm actually going to say. One of the things that it's important to us as a council, and every council across New South Wales and across Australia for that matter, is having access to the government in power. And there's only 2 people in this room that have that access, and that's myself and Councillor Whitten. And that is important because you've got to have access to the Treasurer that gives you money when you want special projects that are done. That is extremely important. But I also want to advise you too that I'm also chair of the New South Wales Related Council, where I deal with ministers. I also deal with other mayors and other CEOs across New South Wales. But I also had been involved and have still been involved with ministers at the state and federal level as regards to aspects of local government, and that is what I pledged to do as a Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Councillor Peterson.
Thank you, and to echo those comments and congratulations to everyone being elected and back here again or here for the first time. I do seek your vote to serve as Deputy Mayor. Internally, my goal would be to support the Mayor and all councillors, especially our three newest. I'm in my medical work frequently part of teams of people that might not choose individually to work side by side with everyone in the team, but do so anyway because of all the different things they can offer to the care of the patient. I kind of think this council is kind of similar. There are no clones here. Everyone's got their own sort of skills and talents and experiences they bring to the table. As Deputy Mayor, I'd like to tap into those skills as best I can to help serve the city. So externally, my overarching concerns are the major projects and our finances. The Conservatorium, Planetarium, the Stadium and Redmond Place are boons for the city, but they definitely present some risks that we need to proactively mitigate and respond to if necessary. The Council also faces some financial trends in a worsening economic environment that we've got to prepare for. They are all of our responsibilities, and I think particularly for the Mayor and those that assist them. So if I was elected, I would approach those external and internal priorities with collaboration, contributions and connections. From a collaboration point of view, it is a natural inclination of mine. I am in the habit of meeting individually with councillors to hear what's important to people. We'd like to work together to get those shared priorities realised. I am responsible for sending texts and emails to people when I see things of interest, and when I turn up to council, I've got those councillor questions for the agenda that I send to the directors prior to every meeting. The reason why is I want to come here to get answers to head up deliberations, not to catch people out. That sort of collaborative attitude is how I'd approach being Deputy Mayor. From a contribution point of view, I think I have the time necessary to put in for the role. For the quarter of last term's notice of motions, have the responsible for some procedural changes, such as the Deputy Mayor voting at all from last term, and I think I prepare well for the meetings. And from a connection point of view, I do have my 7 employers, the 8 organisations I volunteer with, medical and disability care that I give and receive, and all sorts of little groups in the community that I'm part of. And I hope that links me to a variety of people that can be of use to council. I think my favourite example is when the former PM turned up here, and I had friends both in the building wanting photos with him, but also another friend outside protesting. I hope that connections allow me to help the Mayor and the Council by helping connect with different people in the city. The final point is that being elected as Deputy is definitely an honour. I would like to share that honour and maximise the benefits to Council by having a variety of people in the role. So certainly if I was elected, I publicly commit now not to stand again for that position during this term of council. I would instead support, hopefully 3, but at least 1 other person in the room having a role as Deputy Mayor. But for tonight, I'd be grateful for your vote, and if I was elected, would strive to be worthy of it. Thank you.
Thanks, councillors. Are we close? Yeah. We're close. So, councillors, a ballot paper, including you, Mr. Mayor, will be handed out to each councillor. Are we right? Yep, go for it. We've just made a bit of an amendment on there. You are writing one number.
One number.
One number only.
As in the number 1.
Well, literally, yeah.
Not putting like
Write
number
1
10.
in the box, and it'll be a legal vote. And then when you're ready, we'll pick those up.
I will.
An audience, since we have 3 nominations, when we count these, the councillor with the lowest number of votes will then be ejected from, and we'll do this again. So a little bit longer. Mr. Mayor's got one. So, councillors, thank you.
Supposed to show us that it's empty. I did. Oh. We're not paying. No. I'm sorry.
It's on.
Not like, you know. Alright, it's a patio tonight. Thanks, guys. No worries. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you. Here we go. Thank you. The box is empty.
Thanks, Cam.
Just Constantine and I will now make 3 piles. That is 1 vote for Councillor Peterson, a legal vote. That is another vote for Councillor Peterson, a legal vote. That is a count for Councillor Duffy, a legal vote. That is a vote for Councillor Greenhouse, a legal vote. That is a vote for Councillor Greenhouse, a legal vote. That is a vote for Councillor Greenhouse, a legal vote. That is a vote for Councillor Greenhouse, a legal vote. How many councillors? Vote for Councillor Duffy, a legal vote. This is a vote for Councillor Greenhouse, a legal vote. This is a count for Councillor Peterson, a legal vote. This is a count for Councillor Duffy, a legal vote. And the last vote is a vote for Councillor Greenhouse, a legal vote. So at the end of the vote, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 votes for Councillor Greenhouse, 3 for Councillor Duffy, and 3 for Councillor Peterson. Now I have to refer to my colleague on what we do now. Sorry.
I'm happy to withdraw.
Councillor's withdrawing his nomination.
Yep.
Okay.
And I will also withdraw as well.
Well, councillors, that's interesting. Give me a minute to think this through. We have 1 valid candidate, and that candidate's got a majority of votes.
No, they don't.
We have 6.
6.
These have moved out.
I need 7.
They've now gone.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. If we can declare it.
Okay.
Okay. So, just for the record, Councillor Duffy has pulled his nomination, as has Councillor Peterson. So I am in a position to declare Councillor Tammy Greenhouse as the new Deputy Mayor of Orange. Right. Fascinating stuff. There's my vote. Thank you, councillors. Mr. Mayor, we are on item 5.3. Back to you, sir.
Thank you. Item 5.3, councillor vacancy countback method. Councillors, there's a recommendation on page 21.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councillor Whitten, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Are there any speakers, any discussion? Yes, Councillor Kinghorn.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've just a question about, so this is for a vacancy in the first 18 months. What happens after that?
Yes. Through Mr. Chair, at that point we would need to have an election.
But you can dispense with it towards the end.
Unless it's within 12 months of the normal election.
But we can't go longer than the 18 months.
Is there any further discussion? Speakers? Councillor Duffy.
Yeah, Chairman, I'm going to support the resolution there. Just in answer to your question, I think after 18 months, Council can resolve to ask the Minister to leave us with 11 if that's the case. So
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
It's within 18.
Any other speakers? There being no other speakers, I will put the motion. Show of hands for. Any against? Carried unanimously. Yeah. Item 5.4, day, time and frequency of council meeting. That's on page 25. There's a recommendation in front of us. I'll move that somebody move that these matters be dealt in Serianum.
Yeah, I'll move that way, Mr.
Thanks, Councillor Wheaton. Seconder, Councillor McDonald. Any speakers? Councillor Peterson.
Yeah, look, I'd like to move an amendment to item 1.
Sorry, Councillor. This is speaking on whether it should be in Seriatum or not at this point. So
Okay.
vote for that.
Okay, so are there any other speakers? Councillor Duff.
Just a clarification. The council hold 11 scheduled ordinary meetings of council per year, which is a little different. to
No,
what we
well,
had.
This is in Syria.
Councillor Duffy, what I've
Sorry,
asked.
Syrian, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right, fair enough, yep.
Okay.
Put that to the vote.
Okay, so all those in favour?
Yeah.
Any against? Yeah, so now we'll deal with them individually. Okay, number 1, the council will hold 11 scheduled ordinary meetings of council per year, which will include policy committees. That is number 1. Any discussion? Councillor,
So you need a mover and second.
I need a mover.
Mover in a second.
I-
Councillor Peterson was going to move and was going to.
He was going to
change.
yeah.
One level up.
Speak.
Sure, that's so you need to move first. Look, for the rec, I'd like to move an amendment. The council hold twice monthly meetings as per the arrangements from previous council.
I'll second that.
So that becomes motion 1. That
You
becomes motion
can
1.
put a motion to that effect.
The motion is thank you to my colleagues, council to twice monthly meetings as similar to last council.
Do we have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Peterson.
Councillor McDonald. Any other speakers? Councillor McDonald.
I'd just like to speak to that too. Look, I understand that there are other councils around the state that hold monthly meetings, but our business papers are already quite, other than tonight, are usually quite involved anyway. It's in terms of family balance, keeping staff here, getting councillors home on time. I can't see us fitting the month worth of papers into one meeting a month without going over time enormously or without missing things that are in the papers that we shouldn't be missing. So that's basically my argument for keeping it as it was last term. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Mallow.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'm happy to support the motion and thank Councillor Peterson for moving this way. I do appreciate the information that was in the report explaining why dropping to one meeting a month was considered, but I do agree that I think we've structured the meetings, and obviously we're going to deal with meeting time in a little while, but I think we've set our meetings up to try and start a bit earlier, get through things, but I do think the structure we have works quite well. I was concerned on page 27 of the papers that there were 4 points about how we could offset the change to the size of the business papers if we went down to one meeting a month, and 2 of those, the last 2, concerned me, that the idea of not including community committee agendas and only including the minutes of community committees for us to read, and also having staff reconsider whether to put reports that are, have been put previously or just for noting. Both of those, I think it's really important, both for us as councillors but also for the community. The information that comes through in council meeting papers gives us and gives the public the opportunity to understand what's going on with council, to ask questions about it, to speak to it, both us in debate and members of the public can come and speak in the open forum. So I don't want to see any loss of that. So I would really need to be persuaded how we could manage 11 meetings a year and not ending up needing extraordinary meetings or having unmanageable issues with business papers from time to time. I'm happy to support the motion and stick with things as they are. Thanks.
Councillor Greenhouse.
Yeah, I'm happy to support the motion as well. Firstly, by meeting twice a month, we're promoting regular collaboration and transparency, which I think is key to effective decision making. When we come together more frequently, we're able to discuss issues in a timely manner, reduce bottlenecks and respond promptly to community needs. With a lot of our matters, planning matters, I think it's really important that we continue that in a timely manner. And this kind of teamwork helps all of us work more effectively, not amongst ourselves, but also with the staff, as we're more consistently available for questions, guidance and updates, particularly for the new councillors. Having a predictable, consistent schedule of meetings also builds community trust and engagement. When residents know that we're meeting twice monthly, they can follow our progress and participate more. I understand that we can, call a meeting should we need to, but I think that would confuse them a little bit and undermine their ability to stay connected with our work. So for collaboration, fairness and transparency, I believe sticking to the 2 meetings per month is best for our community.
Thank you. Councillor Wheaton.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I concur with all of the speakers. I'm speaking in favour of the motion. It has been done before. Well, originally it was 1 a month, and we were having meetings going to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And it just gives you that continuity, as some speakers have said. We have continuity of the issues and the community of what's going on in town. And certainly it gives us the ability to stay and do the diligence we need to do as councillors across all the issues. So I'll be supporting the motion.
Are there any other speakers? There being none, Councillor Peterson.
I'll just close by echoing that. The only 2 points that hadn't sort of been raised was one was about our notices of motion. We had 90 over 58 council meetings last term. So that's about 3.5 a meeting. It will also take a long time, might not be adequately looked into, and also in optics. First meeting, halving our meetings. There would be some people unfairly who would see that as a reflection on the work ethic that I know is much better around this table. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? There being none, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Any against? Unanimous.
Item 2 will need to be changed.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could propose a motion that meetings be held on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month, if that's what you want.
Yes. If we have a look at item number 2, I'll propose a change to that the meetings be held on the 1st Tuesday and 3rd Tuesday of each month, starting at 6:30 p.m.
Move that way, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Greenhouse. Any other speakers?
Can I just, for the sake of bottling up things into one thing, can I move an amendment to so that the meetings be held on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of the month, starting at 6:30 p.m. with the exception of January each year, with no meetings, because that sort of brings to, or do you want to deal with them? And
We're doing
I don't know. No, I know, but then it would negate dealing with that item later on. Anyway, it was just. I'm happy to withdraw the amendment.
You have to talk to the original motion.
Yeah. If you're happy to withdraw, we'll proceed
Yep.
with putting that. So, all in favour?
Sorry,
Councillor.
Question first, and then potentially an amendment if we think it's needed. This might be through you to the CEO or the governance manager, Mr Mayor. Do we need to specify which meeting will hold the policy committees? And if so, I'd propose it's the same as what's already in the Code of Meeting Practice, which is the 1st Tuesday.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I just think we're going to assume it'll be status quo from
last
term
in this
case.
I'd move an amendment if it was needed, but if you're satisfied, thank you.
So Tuesday's the same.
Yep, happy to support the motion as is then.
Any other speakers? There being none, I'll put the motion. All in favour?
Unanimous.
Any against? Unanimous. Number 3.
I'm happy to move that as written, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Mallard, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I'll move the motion. All in favour? Unanimous? None against. Number 4.
Mr. Mayor, I'll withdraw 4 on behalf of staff because they will just happen now.
Okay. 4 is being withdrawn. Councillors, we'll look at number 5. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Whitten. Seconder, Councillor Peterson. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Any against? Carried. Number 6. Moved by Councillor Whitten. Seconder, Councillor Mallard. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Unanimous?
Move number 7.
Number 7's been moved by Councillor Whitten. Seconded by Councillor Greenhalgh. Any discussion? Councillor Mallard.
Sorry, a question that was my first question is do we actually need to update the code of meeting practice in light of?
I will update the details through you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, I'll update the details in the code of meeting practice and bring it back to you. So if there's something at that time that's not quite right, we can adjust it before it goes on.
Okay.
I would advise we just do it, Mr. Chair. There'll be a spelling.
Are you happy with that, Councillor?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep,
Thank you. I'll now put the motion. All in favour? Any against? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. That concludes that item. If we can move on to item number 5.5, matters approved under delegate authority, under delegation. New Year's Eve 2024. There's a recommendation on page 31. Can I have somebody move the recommendation? Councillor McDonald, seconded by Councillor Power. Any discussion? Councillor McDonald.
I'll just briefly say that, yeah, look, I know that the public was sort of really starting to get behind the lake idea, but at the end of the day, it comes down to safety, and if we can't get, get the fire service to sign off on safe routes of evacuation in the event of an emergency, I think we just can't do it.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Peterson.
Yeah, look, I thank staff for the recommendation. Even if it was the right decision, it would be nice to have made it by the entire council, and I think maybe a shorter caretaker period to facilitate that might be an idea for next year, or 4 years' time. We could well have had our first meeting maybe a Tuesday after the election results were known, or the Tuesday after that. So just like the council to consider that timeline for 2028, which is a long time away, but I'm sure we'll better.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other speakers? Councillor Mallard.
Just my obligatory note, I guess, that I am not a supporter of having fireworks involved in the event. I'm not going to try and move anything or change anything. I know we're just noting what's been already decided and delegated, but I do note that there were concerns about impacts on livestock. We're now going to have fireworks closer to town, which is going to mean impacts on domestic animals, potentially still livestock as well as native wildlife as well. But I'm happy to support acknowledging the report and hope it is a successful event nonetheless.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other speakers? There being no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Any against? Carried unanimously. Item 5.6, Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, ARIC, membership and terms of reference. Councillors, there's a recommendation on page 33.
Happy to move it, Mr. Chairman, and the council is nominated as in the...
Okay, hang on a second, Councillor. I can have a seconder. Councillor Kinghorn. Councillor Duffy.
Yeah, I'm happy to move it with the data that's on the following page with Councillor Kinghorn and Councillor Peterson.
So are we, councillors, are we happy to hear all these together?
Yep, deal with the lot together.
You can.
Thank you.
So
The two councillors are Councillor Kinghorn and Councillor Peterson.
Kinghorn and Peterson.
So number 1, Mr Mayor, now reads to appoint Councillor Kinghorn and Councillor Peterson to the ARIC committee. And
Can I just check with both councils that they're in agreement with that?
I am, but anyone can, so if there's other people interested, please say.
Thank you. Councillor Kinghorn?
I just have a question through you to the CEO, Mr Mayor.
Yes.
Item 1, where we've got non-voting councillors sitting on an audit committee, I don't understand that, Mr. CEO, because councillors we are not staff. Right? So there is no issue. I understand when you're auditing boards and all that sort of stuff, when you've got a council. But we are elected officials overseeing the Audit and Risk Committee. The whole reason there are independents on this Audit and Risk Committee is because there are a bunch of councillors that couldn't manage their financials, right? But still, why have a non-voting councillor turn up to a committee that they can't talk at? They're just sitting there listening, you know? So, I know it's a resolution of Parliament, but it's not right. We should have our representative from this chamber, a councillor, who has the ability, with those independents, to be able to speak and to raise issues. So, what's the actual official standing on this matter?
I'll just go to, before you gather your thoughts, I just want to go to Councillor Kinghorn.
So the last meeting that we had was under this new system. You're absolutely allowed to talk. It depends on the chair, and he encourages you to do. In fact, he nearly tests you on the papers, of which there are a lot. So
that I understand, but my point is, you cannot raise a motion.
I can't vote. I can't raise a motion, but more than any other committee, you learn so much from this about what's going on in the Orange City Council.
But we are the elected officials of the city.
You're complaining that we
these
can't
are the
vote?
fiscal
Can I not have a discussion between the two of you? Councillor Kinghorn's got the floor.
So, you can't vote, that's right, and you can't raise a motion, but they do ask what you think about things and ask whether you have any issues, and then they take that into account when they're doing their motions. It's really useful. Yeah.
Councillor Peterson?
That's still not right. I would say that if there were things I was concerned about, I'm sure that would probably apply to Councillor Kinghorn as well. We'll take it back to the 12 of you here, and the decision we made would override the ARIC anyway. We'll certainly want to keep you informed.
Thank you. Do you still require a comment from the CEO, Councillor Whitten?
Is that the official? Is that the official line?
Through Mr Chair, yeah, look, this has come down from the Office of Local Government, and the Minister himself favours this approach. I mean, it should also be noted that specifically the Mayor is not permitted to be an ARIC member. So we're just doing what is decreed by our masters. If you would like me to write to the Minister or anything like that, please resolve so. But at this stage, we're just following orders. I won't comment whether it's right or
I suppose
wrong.
my point, if I may, Mr Mayor, my point is that we are ultimately liable as councillors for the fiscal position of this council, yet we don't have a say. Sure, it comes back to closed council, but the report's this thick.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Whitten. I'll just like to make one comment, and in support of Councillor Kinghorn and Peterson, I thank you for going on the committee, knowing full well that you don't have any voting powers, and you are able to have an input. And I know last council term you were both vigilant in bringing back some really useful, accurate information. So thank you for putting up your hand again, because it can be quite complicated. And thank you for doing that. Are there any more speakers? Councillor Duffy.
Yes, Mr Chairman, I'll just close the debate on it. I agree with the resolution. As I said, I moved it. I'm going to support the resolution. But I do want to say this comment is it's just another way of the state coming to start trying to deal with the power, taking it away from local government. And this is an example where you're not going to get a vote on audit risks. And I think just it's another invasion on us from the state government.
Thank you, Councillor Duffy. We have a motion there. Can I have a show of hands, those for?
Unanimous. unanimous.
None against, unanimous. Thank you, councillors. If we go to item 5.7, councillors, on page 57, that's the Mining and Energy Related Councils, MERC, councillor representative. Councillors, their recommendation on page 57, like I said.
I'll lose the recommendation and I better nominate the chair of the committee, Councillor, what's his name? Councillor Duffy.
Can I just correct you, former chair,
Oh, he's
councillor.
the former chair, they've sacked him.
As you'd be aware, councillor, at the end of each term, the committee's dissolved, I should say.
You need a second.
You need a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Peterson. Any discussion, councillors? There being
I'm
no
happy to speak for the resolution. Who's the other one? I couldn't hear what Councillor Whitten was saying. Who was he mumbling?
I nominated you, Councillor Duffy.
Yes, but there's also an alternative we need as well, which is, I presume, is yourself, the mayor, is it? You're inclusive
That's
of that?
up to you, councillors, who you want to do alternative.
That's right, yeah. The reason why I think it's so important is...
So are you going to...
We don't need.
Sorry?
We don't need one, councillor.
We normally have two. Last year it was the mayor, Councillor Hamley.
Okay, well, I'm happy to be the
Yeah,
alternative.
okay. The reason why I say it's so important is because during the last couple of years, the organisation through FTG, which is headed up by Martin Rush, who's a barrister, and we're getting more and more members coming in and joining us. And you've got to remember that the state government over the next 4 years are going to collect around about $14 billion from mining royalties. $14 billion is a lot of money, and all they've put back into us so far is around about $350 million, which is open to everyone, not the royalty councillors. Now, this money that they've taken away resources for regions and also resources for rejuvenation, but this money is absolutely vital to smaller councils. And to give you an example, I'll give you Blaney. The former Mayor Scott Ferguson at Blaney said, look, hey, it's going to cruel us. And it will also affect Cabon as well. But the organisation is also talking to the Australian Mining Cities Alliance, which have approached the organisation. That includes Karratha, Mount Isa, and Broken Hill and Kalgoorlie. Well, Broken Hill are already members. Yeah. But also we've had two conferences this year, which we've done with the Arana region or the Arana RDA. And we are working very closely with the Labor caucus group of the Hunter Valley. And that's extremely important because they are not happy that we are not getting resources for regions or some other name that we can get that money, because it's extremely important to us when we've got major projects that we want to do. When you're talking about the Southern Feeder Road or Stribia Road or Brabham Way, whatever you want to call it, that's extremely important. And this is where this body comes into play, and it's extremely important.
Thank you, councillor. Any other speakers? There being no other speakers, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Unanimous. Item number 6, page 58, closed meeting and closed agenda. The Chief Executive Officer will now advise the Council if any written submissions have been received relating to any item advertised for consideration by a closed meeting of Orange City Council.
I have received no such submissions, Mr Mayor.
Can I move it to the floor that this matter be moved into open council?
Have you got a seconder?
No, actually, you want me to answer?
No,
It's
okay.
my call.
Do you have a seconder?
No.
Okay. Well, you go, Councillor Duffy.
Have you got a seconder? Yeah, the only reason being is that across New South Wales there's around about 126 councils, and this appears to be the only one that we hide it in amongst the closed items. And I don't have any problem with people knowing if I'm going somewhere or anywhere, whatever the case may be. I don't have an issue with that at all. And I think it should be the same with our council as it is right across New South Wales.
Yeah, okay. Point taken. What I'm going to do is defer to the CEO because this is his call as a CEO. I would like a comment from him.
I don't think it's. Can I just say it's
yes,
not,
it
not
is.
the CEO's
Sit down,
call,
please,
Mr.
Councillor
Chairman.
Duffy. This is CEO.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Before Council votes on that, and of course Council has the ability to bring it into open, as they do on all votes, I have decided that this matter should be put into closed. Under the Act and under the regulation, if you look at the reasons at the bottom of page 58, I've classed it confidential under the provisions of section 10A2 of the Local Government Act 1993, which permits the meeting to be closed to the public for businesses relating to matters affecting the security of the council, councillors, council staff or council property. Now this going into closed on this matter was current last term. Those reasons from the councillor in question given to me were reason enough for me to put this into close. And I don't do that lightly because I am a Democrat and I believe in transparency, but I can't stress hard enough that this is a matter of security and the welfare of a councillor. To put it into open, I advise against it. And I won't do any more lobbying.
So you have no reason to change your opinion? No. Okay, that being the case, there is no further discussion. We're going to close. Chief,
We've got a resolution, Mr Chairman. We've got a resolution.
We do have to deal.
Okay, I'll put it. Sorry, my apologies.
I don't mind if it gets beat. I mean, we put up a resolution, have a mover and a seconder, and should be dealt with. And if people
Councillor
speak
Mallard.
against it, if they say what?
Councillor Duffy,
Yep.
Councillor Mallard.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, I want to speak to the motion and I want to thank the CEO for his comments. I'm not going to support Councillor Duffy's motion. I understand, I agree that I don't support having things dealt with in confidential meetings unless there is a good reason for it. I note the comments that the CEO has made. I note that we can't know the individual circumstances of other councillors unless they've disclosed them to us, and we shouldn't require that. We should take on good faith that the CEO has been asked to take this approach to making decisions about how we approach nominations for councillors to travel and attend conferences. I fully support having this in closed, and I think I just want to, I'll take advice through you, Mr Mayor, if we need to, if this is deemed unnecessary, but I think if this motion by Councillor Duffy is defeated, we're going to need to move to go into close, so I might foreshadow the motion that we, that is the recommendation as printed there, that we go into close. So if the motion to bring this into open is defeated, then I intend to move that motion that we go into closed meeting for this item instead.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other speakers? The motion.
The motion is the motion is to bring the item 6.1 into open.
All those in favour, please raise your hand.
Duffy.
Councillor Duffy. Councillor Judge, what are you doing?
Who's with?
Is those against?
It was close.
10 against.
Thank you.
Now we move into closed.
Now we move into closed.
We need to move around.
So yes.
You read your bit.
The Chief Executive Officer will now advise the Council, in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993 and the Local Government General Regulation 2021, in the opinion of the Chief Executive Officer, the following business is of a kind as referred to in section 10A, open brackets 2, close brackets of the Act, and should be dealt with in confidential session of the Council meeting, closed to the press and the public. 6.1, 2024, Local Government New South Wales Annual Conference, nominations for council attendance. This item is classified confidential under the provisions of section 10A, open brackets 2, close brackets of the Local Government Act 1993, which permits a meeting to be closed to the public for business relating to, open brackets F, close brackets, matters affecting the security of council, councillors, council staff or council property. Can I have somebody move that we go into closed council? Councillor Mallard, seconded by Councillor Whitten. Thank you.